we've tried various metaphors. I've always struggled when I've been asked in social occasions outside work when they say, "What do you do?" and you know, you sort of say, well, I work for the BBC News website, or the sport website, or whatever it is, or just the BBC website. So you write the stories? No, I don't. So what? You're on the technical side? Well, you're writing the software. No, I'm not writing that. I'm kind of making sure that it all comes together and that everything delivers, and that we're staying one step ahead and delivering value. And at which point they tend to walk away because it's not particularly easy to understand. So I think we've struggled with that explanation of what product management is sometimes around our own organisations, and the metaphor we're now using is that it's like the conductor of an orchestra. So in the same way that each orchestra has different parts, and the first violins come in, and the various other instruments come in at different times and make the sweet music, each product is a bit like that. And the product manager, if they're fulfilling one role, they are the conductor, knowing when to bring in the different talents and how to produce a great experience. The training we've done in two phases. We started off actually with the product managers and those running the technology products, if you like, the enablers, the content management systems and so on, and then we've rolled it out and we're starting to bring in other areas and other disciplines and teams from the BBC who wanted to know more about product management as its profile's grown. You really can't, though, learn it from a book. You can't learn it just in a classroom. But I think there's some real value in getting people together to discuss the shared issues, to hear case studies. We've definitely shared. We've shared. And some of the most valuable things have actually been sharing case studies from other media organisations than the BBC, because there's a tendency in the BBC to think we are unique and it's the only place which is kind of facing all these challenges, and it's clearly not. The whole media industry is going through this huge change and this huge challenge, and is introducing product management to a smaller or greater extent. So it's been really useful to just get people together to share that and to share some of their perceptions, their war stories, if you like, their kind of, you know, just anecdotes and things like that. So there's so much you can learn from a book. There's the theory of kind of various things and the techniques, but I think far more you can learn by just having people talk to each other. What we didn't want to do was to make this just a thing for future media, just a thing for product managers, just a thing for people working in technology. We wanted to bring in people who are working in BBC marketing teams, in the audience research teams, in user experience and design, and you know, from around the whole BBC. So people from BBC Worldwide who are working on BBC.com, who work in close partnership with the public service products, particularly on products like news, which are successful commercially outside the UK and where we are commercialising them, the same product as we serve for public service in the UK. They've started to come and share their stories and experiences and learn more about product management too, and share what they know about product management. I think in the software industry there's a sort of widely held belief that you have a single product manager who's solely accountable and responsible for success or failure. I think in a content division in the media publishing industry generally, that is never going to work, where in the end the content is the lifeblood and the editorial and the culture of the kind of editorial history, and that's what people come to your product for in the end, for the content. So we recognised that, and we felt that, you know, you had to have a product lead who could understand, you know, and do, if you like, if there is a traditional product management job, but you also needed to have an editorial lead who represented that editorial culture, understood how content gets commissioned, how content gets made, some of the editorial workflows. Well, I think it's absolutely critical that the whole organisation actually has a shared strategy. So we've now got one service, 10 products on 4 screens, and that's now shared regardless of all the different departments and different programmes and different areas of the BBC. That is the online strategy. And to be honest, until we had that, people were always liable to sort of push in different directions according to different departmental objectives. So now we've got that clear strategy. It means that product managers and their teams can kind of all literally head in the same direction. I got sort of halfway through developing a process at a time when the BBC many people in the BBC were complaining about bureaucracy and different processes that had been introduced, and felt that any more process could harm the creative process. And what I wanted to do was introduce something that was actually enhancing the creative process, was easy to understand, added value, didn't cost too much. And it occurred to me that that's exactly what a product is. You know, a good product is delivering real value for as little cost as you can manage, and is doing something that's achievable and viable, and giving something really valuable. So I started treating actually the process and selling that process, and kind of understanding that process as a product. And we're also now iterating the process. So, you know, in our training courses we hear what people feel about it, and we tailor it, and we're allowing basically the product managers to take it away as a framework and iterate it for their own product and for their own area of the BBC. So treating the process as a product was something that was sort of became a second nature, I suppose, but I think it's been really valuable.